Before we dive into the full story, let us know where you're watching from. And if you stand for justice, hit like and subscribe to Stories of Black Pain, the place for real stories that demand to be heard. His voice trembled, but it was firm. Dad, stop! Don't sign those papers. She's lying to you. Silence fell, heavy and immediate. Amanda's face twisted, her perfect mask cracking at the edges. She stepped back slightly, her eyes flicking around the room as if searching for a way out. But there wasn't one. Jaden raised the tablet in his hands. Amanda's voice poured from the speaker, cold and clear, echoing off the walls. Once I marry him, the boy's gone. I'll have everything. How did it come to this? Before we dive into the full story, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. And if you stand for justice, hit like and subscribe. This is a story you don't want to miss. 6 weeks before the wedding, life in the Reed household appeared peaceful, if a little hollow. Damon Reed, a 42-year-old successful entrepreneur, had built a life of comfort for himself and his teenage son, Jaden. But the house often felt too quiet, too still, like something vital had gone missing. It had been 3 years since Kesha, Damon's wife and Jaden's mother, died from cancer. Since then, Damon had thrown himself into work and fatherhood, trying to patch the cracks that loss had left behind. He cooked breakfasts Jaden barely touched. Helped with homework Jaden pretended wasn't hard. Filled weekends with basketball games and movie nights that ended in silence as they stared at old family photos. Damon knew something was missing, not just for himself, but for Jaden too. So when Amanda Harrington swept into his life, it felt like fate giving him a second chance. They met at a charity gala. Damon had been one of the keynote speakers, sharing his company's new initiative to support minority-owned startups. Amanda, a polished businesswoman in her late 30s, approached him afterward, her blonde hair cascading in waves, her smile warm enough to melt even his most well-guarded walls. She complimented his speech, casually mentioned her own work in corporate philanthropy, and somehow, by the end of the night, they were laughing like old friends. By the third date, Amanda had charmed her way into Damon's heart. She was everything he thought he needed: sophisticated, intelligent, empathetic. She seemed to understand the challenges he faced as a black single father navigating a world that too often judged him twice, once for his success and again for daring to achieve it. Amanda seemed to get it, or at least she pretended to. The first time Jaden met her, he was polite but quiet. They went to an upscale Italian restaurant, the kind with white tablecloths that made kids nervous. Amanda leaned in with sparkling blue eyes and asked Jaden about school and his favorite subjects. Math, he muttered, barely looking up from his plate. Amanda laughed breezily. A future engineer, maybe? Or a CEO like your dad? Damon smiled and squeezed Jaden's shoulder. Told you she's great, buddy. But Jaden didn't smile back. Something about Amanda's tone, the way her eyes flicked over him, more evaluative than engaging, made his skin crawl. He didn't say anything, though. Damon looked happy, happier than he had in years. And more than anything, Jaden wanted his dad to be happy. As the weeks passed, Amanda's presence grew more rooted in their lives. She began spending weekends at the house, cooking elaborate breakfasts no one asked for, tidying up spaces that didn't need rearranging, and subtly claiming corners of their home as her own. Picture frames moved, pillows were restuffed and repositioned. Even Jaden's shoes by the front door, something his dad had always been fine with, were suddenly a problem. Just keeping things neat, she'd say with that ever-glowing smile whenever Damon noticed. Damon, blinded by the allure of love and the dream of a whole family again, never questioned her intentions. But Jaden noticed. He noticed the way Amanda's compliments came laced with sharpness. "You're so well-spoken for your age," she said once. "Not all boys like you articulate themselves so clearly." "Boys like you." Jaden didn't know exactly what she meant, but those words stayed with him like grit under the skin. The first real crack in Amanda's glossy facade came one evening when Damon was working late. Jaden was watching TV, his homework done and his shoes neatly lined up at the door, when Amanda breezed in with grocery bags. "Mind giving me a hand?" she asked, voice light but her gaze cool. Jaden helped, carrying in the lighter bags. As he set them on the kitchen counter, Amanda glanced toward the doorway. "You shouldn't leave your shoes there," she said tightly. "It looks sloppy." "But Dad doesn't mind," Jaden replied, confused. Amanda's smile thinned. "Well, I do. Boys like you need structure. Otherwise, you'll grow up thinking the world owes you something." "Boys like me?" Jaden thought. The chill behind her words was unmistakable. He didn't reply, but from that moment, the protective wall inside him began to rise. He started watching her more closely. The fake warmth in front of his dad, the cold calculation behind his back. Damon didn't see it. When Amanda suggested moving in, he didn't hesitate. "It'll be good for us," Damon said that night, sitting on the edge of Jaden's bed. "Having Amanda around, it'll make the house feel full again." Jaden wanted to believe him. He wanted to believe Amanda was just awkward, maybe even strict, but not malicious. So he nodded and said, "Okay, Dad." But deep down, unease had already planted roots. It didn't take long after Amanda moved in for things to shift. The photos of Keisha, Jaden's mom, disappeared from the mantel, replaced by sterile modern art. Jaden's favorite blanket, knitted by his grandmother and always on the couch during movie nights, vanished. Amanda claimed it looked old and made the space cluttered. Her clothes took over the front closet. Damon's suits were pushed aside. Jaden's backpack was relocated to a more appropriate spot. Everything in the house began to orbit Amanda's sense of order. And soon it wasn't just decor. One Friday evening, Damon was running late, and Amanda had picked Jaden up from school. He'd left his shoes by the door, neatly, and flopped onto the couch to watch the game. Amanda walked in, holding a glass of wine, and her smile turned razor-sharp. "Shoes at the door again," she said. "Boys like you should show more respect for the home they live in. It's not a playground." "My dad says it's fine," Jaden muttered. "Well, your dad isn't here. I am. And I mind." Jaden moved the shoes silently, but as he passed her, she added under her breath, "Typical? Can't expect much discipline from boys like you." He froze. There it was again. "Boys like you?" He wanted to ask what she meant, to make her say it outright, but she was already scrolling through her phone, dismissing him without another glance. Later that night, when Damon got home, Jaden tried to bring it up. "Dad, I don't think Amanda likes me." Damon blinked in surprise. "Of course she does. She's always saying how smart you are. Why would you think that?" "She just says weird stuff sometimes," Jaden said, not knowing how to express what couldn't be proven. Damon chuckled. "Amanda's just old school. Tough love, buddy. Don't take it personally." But Jaden did, because it wasn't tough love. It was a slow erosion of his place in the home. A campaign to undermine him one word, one look at a time. And it was working. The turning point came a week later. It was supposed to be basketball night, a tradition Damon and Jaden had kept since Jaden was 6 years old. They played every Friday at the local community center, laughing, sweating, talking about life. It was their thing. No matter what happened during the week, they always had that. Jaden bounded down the stairs, gym bag slung over his shoulder, already wearing his sneakers. But instead of his dad waiting by the door, Amanda stood there, arms crossed, expression unreadable. "Where do you think you're going?" she asked. "Basketball." Dad said we were— Change of plans, Amanda interrupted, voice smooth. Your dad has a work call, and I need help with groceries. You'll stay home, but— he promised. Amanda stepped closer, her smile stretched thin and tight. Look, Jaden, things are different now. It's not just you and your dad anymore. This is a real family. And real families don't revolve around spoiled little boys who think the world owes them something. The words hit like a punch. Spoiled? Jaden's mom had worked 2 jobs before Damon's business succeeded. He'd grown up seeing hard work, not luxury. There was nothing spoiled about him. Damon came downstairs a few minutes later, distracted and holding his phone. Dad, Jaden tried again. Amanda said we can't go to practice. Oh, it's fine, Amanda cut in, wrapping her arm through Damon's. I just thought it'd be better for Jaden to rest tonight. He's been looking tired. I'm thinking about what's best for him. Damon nodded absently. She's right, Jay. We'll go another day. But another day never came. From that moment on, things changed. Amanda wasn't just Damon's fiancée. She was the architect of their schedule, the gatekeeper of their time. Where Jaden went, what he ate, when he studied, who he could see, it all passed through Amanda first. When Jaden protested, Amanda always had a reason, a sweetly delivered explanation that painted Jaden as rebellious or overly sensitive. The worst part? Damon believed her. One night, unable to sleep, Jaden tiptoed downstairs for a glass of water. As he passed Amanda's office, once the guest room, he heard her voice, low and sharp. It's all lined up, she said into the phone. Once the wedding's done and those papers are signed, everything's mine. The house, the accounts, the company shares. Damon trusts me completely. It's almost pathetic. There was a pause. The voice on the other end murmured something. Amanda laughed bitterly. The kid? Please. He's just a brat. Once I'm in control, boarding school's an easy fix. Out of sight, out of mind. Jaden's heart stopped. He stumbled back, barely remembering to stay quiet as he ran upstairs, breath shallow and eyes wide. It was real. She didn't love Damon. She didn't want to be part of their family. She wanted power, wealth, and Jaden? He was just in the way. The next morning, he waited until Amanda left for her Pilates class and rushed into Damon's office with his tablet in hand. Dad, you need to hear this, Jaden said, unlocking the recording. Damon barely looked up from his emails. What is it, sport? It's about Amanda. She's not who you think. I recorded her. She's lying to you. She wants your money. She's planning to send me away. Damon sighed and rubbed his temples. Jaden, we've talked about this. Amanda's trying. I know it's been tough, but she's not your mom. That doesn't mean she's the enemy. No, Dad, you don't get it. Jaden's voice cracked with frustration. She doesn't love you. She's using you. Just listen to this. I said enough, Damon snapped, looking up at last. I won't let your attitude ruin what we're building. Amanda loves us, and I won't have you tearing that down. Jaden stood there, stunned, trembling with helplessness, as Damon turned back to his screen, the conversation already over. That's when he knew words weren't enough. If he wanted to save his dad and himself, he needed something more. He needed proof. Cold, undeniable proof. From that morning on, Jaden knew what he had to do. Words wouldn't save him. Pleading wouldn't work. He needed evidence. Clear, undeniable, damning. And he had just the tool for it. The tablet Damon had given him for Christmas. Amanda had installed parental controls weeks earlier, claiming it would help him focus on school. But Jaden had quietly disabled them. He opened the voice recorder app, tested it by whispering into the mic. Amanda is lying, he whispered. The playback was clear. Perfect. From that moment, The tablet became his shield and his sword. He carried it everywhere, hid it in his backpack at school, tucked it under his pillow at night, and slipped it into his hoodie pocket when Amanda was around. Every moment they were alone, every veiled insult or threat, he recorded it. And it didn't take long for Amanda to slip. One evening, Damon was working late again. Jaden sat at the kitchen counter doing homework when Amanda walked in, wine glass in hand, heels clicking. "You know," she said, her voice casual but her eyes sharp, "boys like you always end up in the same place. Jail, the streets, forgotten. Your dad's money won't save you once you're out of the picture." Jaden kept his face neutral, though his fingers trembled. The tablet in his hoodie pocket was recording everything. The next day, Amanda made another mistake. She insisted on picking Jaden up from school, something she rarely did. In the car, her phone rang. She answered on speaker. "Is everything ready for the transfer?" a man's voice asked. "Almost," Amanda replied, glancing at Jaden in the rearview mirror. "Damon signs the final documents this weekend. Once we're married, the assets move." Quietly, Jaden stared out the window, silently sliding his tablet out again. Recording. She wasn't just planning to send him away. She was planning to take everything. His dad's business, his money, his trust. But Amanda was careful. In front of Damon, she was all charm and grace. She praised Jaden at dinner, ruffled his hair, said things like, "Structure really helps boys like him." And Damon smiled, grateful. Jaden burned inside, but he stayed quiet. He needed more. Then one night he got it. Amanda was on a video call in her office. The door cracked just slightly. Jaden crept down the hall and slid his tablet inside. "I already spoke to the boarding school," Amanda said, sipping wine. "They'll take him as soon as the wedding is done. Damon won't fight it. I'll show him the paperwork, spin it like it's for Jaden's own good." The voice on the other end chuckled. Amanda went on. "And the money? Locked in. Prenup's solid. Once the accounts merge, I drain what I need, transfer offshore, file for divorce in 6 months. Damon's too proud to fight it. And the kid? Out of sight, out of mind." Jaden's hands shook as he retrieved the tablet and ran upstairs. He backed up everything, to Google Drive, to Damon's laptop, even to a flash drive he'd hidden in his sock drawer. He emailed it to himself under a subject line that read, "In case something happens." But he underestimated Amanda. 3 days later, while he was at school, Amanda found the tablet. When Jaden got home, it was gone. Amanda was waiting in the kitchen, holding it like a dead bird in her hands. "Looking for something?" she asked, smile tight. "Give that back," Jaden said, heart pounding. Amanda chuckled. "Oh, Jaden, did you really think you could outsmart me? Boys like you always think they're clever. But you don't understand the world." "I do." "My dad will believe me," Jaden said. "He'll hear what you said." Amanda stepped closer, voice dropping. "Will he? Or will he believe the woman who's been patient and kind to his troubled son? You think anyone will take your word over mine?" She smiled sweetly, pocketing the tablet. "Stay in your lane, Jaden, or I'll make sure you regret it." She turned and walked away, leaving Jaden frozen. She had erased the files. All of them. The drive, the email, even the backup on his personal flash drive. But she didn't know about the one he saved on Damon's work laptop. It was the last copy, and now it was the only hope he had left. The next morning, Jaden woke with one mission: get to his dad's work laptop. It was the only place left where the truth still lived, tucked away in a folder labeled School Project, hidden among spreadsheets and business proposals. At breakfast, Amanda sat at the kitchen table sipping her coffee, scrolling through her phone, her smile as sharp as ever. "Sleep well, Jaden?" she asked, voice coated in syrup. He didn't answer. His eyes flicked to Damon, who was reading emails on his phone, distracted as usual. "Dad," Jaden said, trying to keep his tone calm, "can I borrow your laptop for a school thing? I forgot my notes." Damon didn't look up. "Sure, buddy. It's in my office." Amanda's eyes narrowed slightly, but she said nothing. Jaden stood, walked carefully down the hallway, and entered the office. The laptop sat on the desk, open but locked. He typed the password, his birthday and his mom's initials, and the desktop lit up. His hands trembled as he navigated to the hidden folder. There it was, the audio recordings, screenshots, the secret video where Amanda bragged about draining Damon's accounts. Everything. Jaden plugged in a new flash drive and copied the entire folder, heart pounding with every passing second. He had just ejected the drive when a voice cut through the doorway. "Find what you were looking for?" Amanda stood in the office doorway, arms folded. Jaden turned slowly, hiding the flash drive behind his back. "I was just grabbing my project," he said, forcing casualness. Amanda stepped into the room. "You're becoming a real problem, Jaden. And problems get solved." He didn't flinch. "I'm not scared of you." Amanda's smile sharpened. "You should be?" She turned and walked away, her heels echoing across the hardwood. That day at school, things got worse. Someone had slipped a note into his locker. Crumpled paper. 3 words scrawled in black ink. "Know your place." Later, in math class, Mr. Collins called him to the front of the room, holding his homework. "This seems advanced." "Suspiciously so." "Did someone help you?" "No, I did it myself," Jaden said, voice quiet but steady. Mr. Collins raised an eyebrow. Boys like you often think cutting corners is the only way forward. But we don't tolerate cheating here." Jaden clenched his fists. There it was again. Boys like you. After school, as he walked home, he ran into Miss Green, his old teacher from public school, one of the few adults he trusted. Without thinking, he told her everything. The recordings. The threats. Amanda's plan to send him away. Her face turned grave. "I'm calling Child Protective Services," she said. "You did the right thing, Jaden. You're not alone." For the first time in weeks, he felt a flicker of hope. But Amanda was faster. 2 days later, a social worker arrived at the house. Damon was at work. Amanda greeted her with open arms and teary eyes. "Oh my, yes," she said, her voice full of sorrow. "Jaden's been troubled since his mother passed. I've tried everything, but he makes up these stories. He's hurting." Jaden sat silently on the couch as the social worker asked questions. Amanda lingered nearby, always just out of view. "Jaden," the social worker said kindly, "can you tell me why you're afraid of Amanda?" He looked at her, then at Amanda's shadow in the kitchen. His throat tightened. I made some of it up," he whispered. The social worker nodded. "That's okay. Change is hard. If you ever feel unsafe, you can always call us." She left, satisfied. That night, Damon confronted him. CPS? Really?" Jaden's voice cracked. "She threw away Mom's hoodie. She says things. She's trying to send me away. You don't see it, but she's different when you're not here." Damon rubbed his temples. "I'm tired of this, Jaden. Amanda's part of our family now. You need to accept that." Family? The word felt like a cage. Amanda had control. Of the house. Of Damon. And now of the system that was supposed to protect him. But Jaden wasn't giving up. Not with the flash drive in his pocket. He just needed to find someone who would listen. That night, while Amanda was upstairs in her yoga session and Damon worked late again, Jaden sat alone in the hallway with his dad's phone. He didn't have his own anymore. Amanda had taken it, claiming it was a distraction. But Damon's phone still had the one number Amanda didn't know about. Uncle Marcus. Jaden hadn't seen him in over a year. Marcus Reed was his mother's brother, a civil rights attorney who had drifted from Damon after Kesha's death. but he always stayed in touch with Jaden. Birthday cards, the occasional call, and one message that stuck with him. If you ever need me, really need me, call. Jaden tapped the number and held the phone to his ear, heart pounding. It rang twice. Then, "This is Marcus." Jaden's voice trembled. "Uncle Marcus?" "It's Jaden." Marcus was quiet for a second. Then, "Jaden? Are you okay?" "No, I need help." "What's going on?" Jaden kept his voice low, checking to make sure Amanda hadn't come down. "It's Amanda, Dad's fiancée. She's not who she says she is. She's trying to take everything, Dad's money, the company, and me. She wants to send me away to boarding school." Marcus's tone turned sharp. "Do you have proof?" "I do. I backed it up on a flash drive." She erased the other copies. "But this one's real. I recorded everything." Marcus exhaled. "Okay. Listen to me, Jay. I believe you. Meet me tomorrow, after school. Somewhere public. I'll come to you." Jaden nodded, though Marcus couldn't see it. "Dad's working late tomorrow. Amanda's got a dress fitting. I can sneak out." "Good. Bring the flash drive. We'll go over everything." "You did the right thing, kid." The next day at school crawled by. Jaden kept his head down, avoiding Mr. Collins and the other kids who now whispered behind his back. CPS had come and gone, and word spread fast. "He lied. Troubled kid. Made it all up." Every whispered comment stung. After the final bell, Jaden slipped out the side door and made his way to a small cafe 2 blocks from school. Marcus was already there, standing by a black sedan. Tall, broad-shouldered, eyes scanning the street like he was waiting for trouble. Jaden ran to him. "You okay?" Marcus asked, crouching to Jaden's level. Jaden nodded and handed over the flash drive. "Everything's here. Audio, screenshots, even a video where she talks about draining Dad's accounts." Marcus plugged the drive into his laptop, scanning quickly through the files. "You did good, Jay," he said, voice tight with anger. "Yet this isn't just a bad relationship. This is fraud, abuse. She's setting you up to look unstable so she can take control. I've seen women like her before. Charming, calculated, dangerous. What do we do?" Marcus shut the laptop. "We build a case. We go to the police and the DA. But until then, you keep quiet. Don't let her know you've made contact with me. If she feels cornered, she'll lash out." Jaden nodded. "I can do that." That night he returned home and acted normal. Amanda was unusually pleasant, too pleasant. She made his favorite meal, smiled a lot, even asked how school went. Jaden played along, but later, in bed, staring at the ceiling, he knew the mask wouldn't last. Amanda had already taken too much, and if she ever learned about Marcus, she'd take more. The war had begun. Jaden tried to keep calm in the days that followed, but Amanda was watching him closely. Her questions became more pointed. "What are you working on? Who are you texting? Why were you late from school?" He answered as casually as he could, sticking to Marcus's advice. Don't let her know. But Amanda's instincts were razor sharp. 3 days after the cafe meeting, Jaden came home to find his bedroom door open and his backpack unzipped on the floor. His flash drive was gone. Amanda was waiting for him in the kitchen, holding the device between her fingers like a snake with prey. "Well, looking for something?" she asked. Jaden froze. Amanda leaned in close, her voice low. "You think you're clever, but you don't understand the game you're playing. Boys like you always think they're the exception. You're not." "My dad will believe me," Jaden said, trying to sound braver than he felt. Amanda smiled, slow and cruel. "Will he? After CPS? After your tantrums? You're just another angry little boy lashing out. No judge, no cop, no father is going to side with you." She dropped the flash drive in the sink and turned on the garbage disposal. Jaden flinched at the grinding sound, the last copy of his evidence being shredded into oblivion. Except it wasn't. He still had Marcus, but Amanda didn't know that. That night, Jaden slipped out of the house and met Marcus a block away. "She found the drive," he said breathlessly. "She destroyed it." Marcus looked grim. "We've got the files safe. Backups. But she's escalating." He was right. The next morning, Amanda struck again. Over breakfast, she turned to Damon with a concerned look. "I've been thinking," she said sweetly. "Jaden's had such a rough time lately. Maybe a change of environment would help. I found a great school out of state. Structured, disciplined. Perfect for boys like him." Damon looked up, surprised. "Crestwood? That's far." "It's an opportunity," Amanda pressed. "He's struggling here. It's what's best." Jaden's spoon clattered against his bowl. "I'm not going to boarding school," he said sharply. Amanda didn't even look at him. "It's not your choice." Damon held up a hand. "Let's not fight. Just give me time to think." But Jaden knew time was running out. He called Marcus after school. "She's moving fast. She's trying to ship me off." "We're going to the DA," Marcus said. "Tonight, with everything." They did. That evening, Jaden, Marcus, and Damon met with Assistant District Attorney Caroline Reed. They laid out everything: the recordings, the threats, the financial trails, Amanda's manipulation of CPS. Caroline took it seriously. "She's not just a gold digger," she said, flipping through pages of Amanda's fake documents. "This is strategic abuse. Fraud. If we move now, we can stop her." Marcus nodded. "But she's smart, and she's connected. If she realizes we're building a case, she'll vanish." Caroline looked up. "Then we hit fast and hard." But Amanda was already moving. Later that night, Damon's email was hacked, his business account locked, and a car, sleek, black, and unmistakably familiar, appeared across the street. Amanda's lawyer. He sat there for an hour, engine running, watching the house. Jaden's fear returned, but so did his resolve. Amanda had burned the last bridge. They were going to end this, one way or another. The next morning, Damon's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered out of habit. "Hello?" There was a pause. Then Amanda's voice, smooth, venomous, and far too calm. "Miss me?" Damon stood frozen in the kitchen, Jaden at his side. "How are you calling me? You're in custody." "I was," Amanda replied. "But you forget. I have friends. People like me don't stay locked up for long." "You're not supposed to contact us," she laughed. "Oh, Damon, still so naive. You really thought a few recordings would stop me?" He hung up. Marcus was already on his way when Damon called him in a panic. "She's out. She called me. She's threatening us again." Marcus didn't hesitate. "We're moving. Pack bags. Don't stay at the house." Within hours, Jaden and Damon were packed and on the road, heading to a safe house arranged by one of Marcus's legal contacts, a gated brownstone on the far side of town. They stayed inside, curtains drawn, locks checked twice. But Amanda wasn't done. That night, Damon tried to log into his business account. Frozen. Several thousands had already been transferred out before the lockdown. Amanda had moved quickly, anticipating her arrest. Damon's financial life was unraveling. Then came the email, a formal notice of legal action. Amanda was suing for emergency custody of Jaden, citing Damon's emotional instability and Jaden's behavioral issues. She claimed Damon was unfit and dangerous. It wasn't just a personal attack. It was legal warfare. They met with Ada Caroline Reed again the next morning. "She's trying to flip the script," Marcus said. "She's using the same system she manipulated before. Only now she's on offense." Caroline nodded. "We need stronger evidence." Something that makes it impossible for the court to side with her. Jaden spoke up. I remember something. They all turned to him. She kept a notebook. She wrote everything in it. Plans, dates, even stuff about hiding money. It was in her office. I saw her write in it all the time. Can you find it? Marcus asked. Jaden nodded. If she didn't take it when she ran? That night, under police escort, they returned to the house. Amanda was gone, but her shadow still haunted every room. Jaden searched the guest room, the space Amanda had claimed as her own. The desk drawers were mostly empty. But then he saw it. A faint scratch on the hardwood under the desk. A loose floor vent. He pried it open. Inside was a leather-bound notebook, thick and heavy. Amanda's handwriting filled the pages. Jaden flipped through it, his breath catching. Plans to transfer Damon's money. Notes about contacting a judge sympathetic to troubled youth narratives. Instructions for what to do if Damon resisted custody reform. References to a man named RJ listed under cleanup. He ran downstairs, notebook in hand. This is it, Marcus said, scanning the pages. This proves intent, premeditation. Fraud! Everything! Caroline was called immediately. Don't let that book out of your sight, she told Marcus. That's the nail in her coffin. But Jaden knew better. Amanda wouldn't go down without a fight. And now, with everything slipping from her grasp, she was more dangerous than ever. The next morning brought a cold sense of unease. They'd found Amanda's notebook. They had taken it to the DA. The case was finally airtight, or so they thought. Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You're playing a dangerous game. Drop the case, and no one gets hurt. They didn't recognize the number, but they all knew who sent it. RJ, Amanda's enforcer. Later that day, Marcus's car, parked outside his apartment, was found with all 4 tires slashed. The windshield spray-painted with 3 words, "Stay in place." The message was clear. Amanda wasn't just planning a legal defense, she was preparing for war. Damon called Caroline immediately. She's escalating, he said. She has someone on the outside, someone dangerous. Caroline's voice was tense. We issued the warrant for her rearrest this morning. Officers are on their way to bring her in. But Amanda had disappeared. Her apartment was empty, her phone disconnected. Her car found abandoned miles away. No digital footprint, no paper trail. She's running, Marcus muttered. No, Jaden said, cold creeping up his spine. She's hunting. That evening they moved again, to a more secure location, arranged through Marcus's colleague. A small townhouse with security cameras, reinforced locks, and a private garage. But the damage had already been done. Amanda had pulled Jaden out of Ridgeway without permission. An email arrived, withdrawn due to behavioral concerns. Academic record under review. His school life erased. She had planted stories. Whispers returned. CPS was circling again. And now RJ was in play. The next day, a knock came at the door. They froze. Marcus peeked through the peephole and cursed. It's Amanda's lawyer, Carver. Damon opened the door, leaving the chain latched. What do you want? Carver's smile was smug. Official notice. Amanda's petitioning for emergency custody again, citing your instability. She's calling in CPS again. You're insane. I'm just the messenger. He slid the envelope under the door and left. Jaden picked it up, heart pounding. Inside were documents, statements filled with lies, claims that Damon neglected his son, that Jaden posed a danger to himself. Amanda had rewritten their lives as a tragedy she was trying to fix. She's trying to erase me, Jaden whispered. We're going to the police, Damon said. Now! They drove straight to the precinct. Detective Harris met them outside. She's gone underground, Harris said. We're issuing a statewide alert. But if she has help, we need to be ready for anything. Then Jaden's phone buzzed. Another unknown number. He answered it without thinking. "You've been busy," Amanda's voice cooed. "Running to the cops? Bad move." "You're done, Amanda," Jaden said. She laughed. "Sweetheart, I'm just getting started." The line went dead. Jaden stared at the phone, hands trembling. "She's not running," he said quietly. "She's coming back. And this time, she wouldn't hide behind charm. She would bring war to their doorstep." The sky was dark when they returned to the house where everything had begun. Police officers parked outside in unmarked cruisers. Detective Harris stood nearby, speaking into his radio. Inside, the house was quiet, but not peaceful. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of shadow held tension. "This ends tonight," Damon said, locking the door behind them. "Don't split up," Marcus warned. Jaden nodded, heart hammering in his chest. Upstairs, in his old room, he opened the app connected to a security camera he'd hidden weeks ago. A backup phone positioned in the garage. The feed was grainy, but it worked. Movement. Jaden's breath caught. A man slipped through the side yard. Tall, lean, precise. RJ. He raced downstairs. "He's here!" Damon grabbed his phone. Marcus took out his stun gun. The lights flickered once, then went out. "They cut the power," Marcus muttered. "They're coming in!" From the front window, Jaden saw Amanda. No heels, no jewelry. Dressed in black, her hair tied back. Cold, focused. She held a folder. Custody documents, maybe. Or something worse. Jaden's stomach turned. "They're both coming," he whispered. Glass shattered in the back. Jansen was inside. Damon and Marcus moved to intercept. Jaden didn't follow. Instead, he sprinted to his dad's office and grabbed the backup phone, the one with the security feed, and began recording. He moved into the hallway as Amanda entered from the front, the folder clutched like a weapon. RJ stood behind her, stun gun ready. "Last chance," Amanda said, voice like ice. "Hand over the evidence. All of it. Or this ends badly." Marcus stepped forward. "Police are outside." "Not for long," Amanda replied. Jaden stepped into view, holding the phone up. "Smile, Amanda," he said. "You're live," she froze. "You're bluffing," she hissed. Jaden didn't blink. "Try me." RJ shifted. Amanda wavered. Then Marcus lunged. He tackled RJ, the stun gun firing uselessly into the air. Damon rushed Amanda, grabbing the folder as it fell from her hands. Jaden never stopped recording. Red and blue lights flooded the room as officers burst through the front door. "Freeze! Hands where we can see them!" RJ dropped instantly. Amanda tried to run. Harris himself caught her. "You're done," he said, cuffing her wrists. She twisted, looking at Jaden. "You little brat," she hissed. "You think this is over?" Jaden stood tall, phone still aimed at her. "It is for you." They hauled her outside. Marcus turned to Jaden and clapped a hand on his shoulder. "You did it, kid." Damon pulled him into a tight hug, his voice shaking. "I'm so sorry. I should have believed you from the start." Jaden said nothing, just closed his eyes. Amanda was gone. But the scars she left behind? They would take time. Weeks passed. The DA filed full charges. Fraud, endangerment, conspiracy, attempted abduction. Amanda's lawyer tried to paint her as emotionally overwhelmed, but the evidence was overwhelming. Between the notebook, recordings, video feed, and eyewitnesses, the court had no choice. Amanda was sentenced to 5 years with no parole. RJ took a deal, testimony for time served. And Jaden? He went back to school, therapy, basketball. He rebuilt his life one piece at a time. The house became home again. One night, sitting on the porch, watching the stars, Jaden asked quietly, "Do you think she'll come back?" Damon shook his head. "She's gone, son," Marcus added, "and even if she isn't, we'll be ready." Jaden nodded, because now he knew his worth. and Amanda would never take that from him again. What would you have done if you were in Jaden's shoes? Do you believe the system truly protects the vulnerable, or does it favor those with power? Comment below. We want to hear your voice. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. This has been Stories of Black Pain. Stay vigilant, stay brave, and never stop standing for what's right.